Well, hi there. Welcome to the beginner piano course. My name is Mike and I'll be a piano instructor for the course. So sit back and relax and enjoy the lessons. So what are we going to learn during this course? Remember, this course is intended for those who have never touched the keyboard before. So it's going to be absolute beginner. So we're going to learn the following things. Okay, number one, we're going to learn the piano keyboard layout, how the keys are arranged on the keyboard. Okay, and I'm assuming that most of you have seen the keyboard before, but others may not have seen the keyboard before. So we're going to look at how a keyboard looks like. And then the second thing, we're going to look at introduction to basic music theory. I'll help you to understand how musical notes are placed rather on the music stuff. Then we're going to look at the music major scale. Some of you are familiar with it, but you may not know how to play it. Okay, it's called the solfa scale. All right, we're going to look at that and also how to play it. Then I'm going to look at chord constructions. I'm going to construct piano chords, okay, major chords and minor chords. So I'll demonstrate that even as we move along. Then the last thing that I'm going to look at is sight reading, okay. So I'm going to conclude with two songs at the end of the course that you will have to learn to play. The first one is called Mary Had a Little Lamb. It will help you with how you place your fingers on the piano. It's a very simple song. And the second song that I'm going to cover is what do you call this song? There's Power in the Name of Jesus. Break Every Chain. Yes, Break Every Chain. When we've done the chords. Okay, so at the end of this course, you should be able to play those two songs. All right, so let's move on. Right, the piano layout. How does a keyboard looks like? All right, so I'll just take a simple keyboard like the one that you can see on the screen there. This one is just a simple 61 key keyboard, but not all keyboards look the same. All right, what is important is to notice how the keys, the black and the white keys are placed on the keyboard. So forget about the top part there where you can see all those other blue, green buttons there. Okay, keyboards are different. They come in different shapes, form and sizes. Some are bigger than this, some are smaller than this. But what is important is for you to see how the keys, all right, are arranged on the keyboard. By keys, I mean those white notes and black notes. That is what is very important. So a piano standard keyboard looks like something that you can see there on the screen, but you can have something bigger, something longer, or something shorter, depending on the model and the size. But basically, your keyboards are like this. So what is important for this lesson is to see how those keys are arranged on the keyboard. All right, so I'll bring the next diagram that can help us just a little bit to understand how those keys are arranged. Okay, right. If you look at this diagram, you've got a repetition of keys. Okay, let's look at the black ones. You've got a set of two black notes, then three black notes, two black notes, three black notes, two black notes, three black notes. The whole process repeats throughout the keyboard, determine how long or how short the keyboard is. Okay, so it's important for you to memorize this diagram, and I'm going to ask you to draw this diagram from memory. Okay, that's your assignment. It's important for you to see how the keys are placed on the particular instrument. Okay, so you've got a set of two black notes followed by three black notes, again two black notes, three black notes, right up to the end of the piano. So this arrangement is very important for you to memorize and to picture in your head. Okay, so that's how the keys, that is the layout of the keyboard, as you can see there. Not really difficult, but you can memorize this: two black notes, three black notes, two black notes, three black notes, right up to the end of the piano diagram. Okay, so all these notes, as you can see them, the black notes and the white keys there, they've got names. All right, so we'll get into that in our next presentation. Okay, which is the music alphabet. All right, in music is a language, and it being a language, this means there are certain terminologies that we use, there are certain letters of the alphabet that we use, and music is made up of the first seven letters of the alphabet. Okay, the first 7 letters of the alphabet, those are the ones that we use in music. Okay, the first one is the note of A, okay, then followed by the note of B, then followed by the note of C, followed by D, by E, by F, right up to G. Okay, so when we get to G, we don't go H, I, J, K. Once we get to G, we start the process all over again. We go to A, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so that's what we call musical notes in music. Okay, whether you're singing or you're playing the piano or you're playing the saxophone or you're playing the violin, any other instrument that produces sound. Okay, the sound is measured by those alphabetic frequencies. Okay, those 7 letters of the alphabet. All right, it's going to be very important for you to understand that. So now that we know that in music we have 7 notes, we need to ask ourselves, how are these notes placed on the keyboard or on the piano? All right, because remember in our previous lessons we saw, go back just a little bit. Okay, right, I was not there. Right, on this one, no, rather let me take this one. Okay, so we saw that we have got white notes and black notes, white notes and black notes. So all those white notes and black notes, they've got names, okay, and those names are taken from the alphabet, first 7 letters of the alphabet. Okay, the first 7 letters of the alphabet. All right, so let's go there. Okay, so the music notes on the piano. All right, so these are your music notes on the piano. So you've got your white notes and they've got your black notes. Okay, so the first white note that you have there on the piano is called the note of C. All right, so once you understand that, so the first white note, which is just before, or rather, yeah, just before the set of 2 black notes, is a note of C. Okay, right, then followed by a note of D. A note of D is a white note in between 2 black notes. Okay, that's a note of D. It's a white note in between a set of 2 black notes. So rather, from there, everything just alphabetic. Okay, you've got a note of C, of D rather, then you've got a note of E, followed by F, then G, the note of A. Once we get to A, we go B, then C, then D, the process starts all over again, then E, then F, then G, then A, then B. All right, then the process continues again and again and again and again and again and again. All right, so that's how the notes are arranged on the white notes, rather, arranged on the keyboard. I would have loved to cover the black notes in this course, but I will delve much into them in our next course. For this one, I wanted just to deal with the white notes, but for those who may be curious to know, the black notes also have got names. Okay, so refer to the booklet. I'm sure I would have explained how those notes are given their names. Okay, so the first black note that we have there, we call it a C sharp or a D flat. Okay, because this black note is in between C and D. All right, so it doesn't have a name of its own. All right, these black notes, they don't have names of their own. They take their names from the white keys. All right, so the first black note that you see there is between C and D. So you can borrow either of the 2 names. It can be called a C sharp or it can be called a D flat. Okay, so followed by the second black note there is in between D and E. Okay, so it can be called a D sharp or an E flat. All right, so you notice that between E and F there's no black note. All right, so we skip, we go to another note, black note there, which is between F and G. Okay, this note is called an F sharp or a G flat. All right, we call these as you notice, this black note, they've got 2 names. We call them enharmonic notes because they produce one sound, but they've got 2 names. Okay, So then we go on to the next black note there, which is between G and A. Okay, it's called a G sharp or an A flat. All right, G sharp or A flat. Okay, then we go on to another, the last black note, which is between A and B, and we call that note an A sharp or a B flat. Okay, so those are all the notes on the piano. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Then the black ones. So you've got 7 white notes. You've got 5 black notes, which gives you 12 keys. And those notes, they repeat throughout the piano. Understand that, okay? So your whole keyboard is made up of just these notes. Everything's a repetition. Okay, once you get to B, the process starts again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The process is over and over. So your keyboard, actually, you've got 7 white notes and 5 black notes. Okay, so as you can see, the C sharp and D flat, they repeat. D sharp, E flat, they repeat. F sharp, G flat, they repeat. G sharp, A flat, they repeat. A sharp, B flat, they repeat. Okay, so if you look at this whole diagram, those are the names of your keys. Okay, so memorize this. That whenever I give you a keyboard, most keyboards, these names are not written on the keys, so you have to know by head. So the trick is to know, once I can locate 2 black notes, if I can find 2 black notes on the keyboard, a set of 2 black notes rather, in between is a note of D. So once you find that, then everything becomes easy because everything is alphabet. Okay, everything is just in alphabetical order. All right, I hope this is clear. Right, for your exercise, okay, draw the piano diagram from memory, that piano diagram that we did before. Draw it from memory, and also name and identify the music notes on the piano. Right, if you've got access to a real keyboard or a software keyboard, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify it. If I give you a keyboard, you're able to tell where your C is, where your D is, where your F is, where your G is. Okay, all the G's on the keyboard, all the F's on the keyboard, all the D's on the keyboard, you'll be able to identify them. That is the goal of this lesson. Okay, so take a piece of paper, draw a piano diagram from memory, the white notes, the black notes, then give him the names. Okay, you should know this by head. All right, see you in the next lesson. Okay, welcome to this other lesson, basic music theory. In this lesson, I'm going to look at what we call the music stuff, the music clefs, and the music notes. All right, like I said before, this is going to be very, very basic. I will not confuse you with a lot of terminologies here. Okay, I'll just keep it simple and to the point. Right, we'll start with the music stuff. I'm sure you've seen something like this before. A music stuff is where music notes are written on. Okay, we call that a music stuff. All right, and the music stuff is made up of 5 lines, as you can see there, and 4 spaces. Okay, it's just straight lines that are 5 straight lines and 4 spaces in between. We call that the stuff. Okay, that's where you put all those notes, all those A, B, C, D, E, F, G that we were talking about before. That's where you place them on the notes, on the lines and on the spaces. Okay, so that's the first thing. The music stuff is where we write our music notes. Okay, so that's this on the stuff. It's not really difficult. And your numbering starting from the bottom. Your bottom line, that's your number 1. Your bottom space, that's your number 1, going up. Okay, so the music stuff is going to be very important because you'll see later on how we're going to place those notes on the piano. Okay, right, the treble and the bass clef. Okay, right, we've got the first clef there, we call the treble clef, and that is the symbol. I'm sure you've seen something like this before. This is called a treble clef. Now this clef is placed on the staff, as I will show you in our next presentation. And this clef determines the notes that are played by the right hand on the piano, or the notes that are higher, okay, in the music notation. Okay, so when you see a treble clef, especially when it pertains to the piano, it's notes that are played by the right hand. Okay, the higher notes that are played by the right hand, from Middle C. We have the bass clef I'm sure you've seen something like this before. A bass clef, it determines the notes that are played by the left hand on the piano, okay, or notes that are played by the bass instrument, like the bass guitars or your other instruments that are bassy, okay, that use the lower registers of music. Okay, so on the piano we use the bass clef. Okay, I'll show you how that works. So those are the two treble clefs. The treble clef represents the notes played by the right hand, and the bass clef represents the notes that are played by the left hand or the left side of the piano. Okay, so I really don't want to delve into this because this I'll explain in the next course, in our intermediate course. But these are the notes that you will put on the staff. Okay, instead of writing A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, we put these notes. So I'm sure some of you have seen this before. Okay, so I'll show you in the next slide how these are arranged. Okay, so I'll not delve much in this. I'm trying to bring to confuse you a lot. So we'll just skip this for now. Right, there is the treble clef. All right, the treble clef, the notes on the staff. Okay, as you can see, you've got your staff there, number one, and then with your 5 lines, then you've got the treble clef. All right, each line represents a note. Each space represents a note on the piano. Okay, each line represents a note. Each space represents a note. So the first line that you find there, okay, is a note of E. Okay, you've got a note of E there on the first line. Then on the second line is a note of G. On the third line is a note of B. On the fourth line is a note of D. And on the fifth line is a note of F. Okay, understand that. So, but in real world, they will not put these alphabetic names. They'll just put these symbols like what you can see below there. Then the spaces, okay. The first space you find, there's a space of F, then followed by the second space, which is A, followed by the third space, which is C, followed by the fourth space, which is E. Okay, and sometimes it happens that the notes can go above the 5 lines. Okay, we call that ledger lines, and it's beyond the scope of this course to explain that. So, in order for you to remember these notes how they're arranged, we use what we call mnemonics. Okay, it helps you to remember. Okay, so if on the treble clef, the names on the letter names on the lines, okay, are presented by this mnemonic that you can use. It says every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Okay, or some may say every good boy deserves fudge, or whatever you can use to just to remember. Okay, and then for the spaces is such as face. Okay, so that's how alphabetically the notes are placed on the treble clef. If you're using notes, if you go beyond the second diagram there, you've got to see all those pointy things there with heads. Those are musical notes. All right. Like I said, in real-time music, in the real world, they will not place those alphabetic names there. They'll assume you know. Okay. So that they'll not put those E, F, G in between there. They just put those blank heads and tails. So your job is just to read. If you're given a treble clef like this, you know that if your first line is an E, then the second line is an F, then G, then A, right up to the end there. Same thing with spaces. You've got your space. They're represented by those lines as well. Okay, so that is the treble clef. All right, it will determine what notes are played by the right hand. All right, so let's go to the bass clef. All right, there we have the bass clef. These are notes that are played by the left hand, and they're also played by some bass instruments. All right, the first line that you have there is a line of G. Okay, then the second line is a line of B. The third line is a line of D. The fourth line is a line of F, and the fifth line is a line of A. Okay, and for you to remember that, you always use this mnemonic: good boys do fine always. Okay, good boys do fine always. or whatever you can use to remember. Then the spaces on the bass clef. The first space that you have there is a note of A. And the second space is a note of C. The third space is a note of E. And the fourth space is a note of G. Okay. If we continue up the hierarchy, you can put the fifth space there being an A. All right, just like that now, alphabetical, no, being a B rather, not A, being a B. So for you to remember this, like in the spaces in the bass clef, use this mnemonic: all cows eat grass. All cows eat grass. This can help you to understand uh, how those notes are placed on the piano, or on the staff rather. Okay, I hope this is simple and straight to the point. I don't do a lot of explanations lest I confuse you. So go back to this presentation and go over what I just said. You'll see that it's very easy to understand. All right, what are you going to exercise at the end of this lesson? What are you going to write? Now, practice drawing the clef symbols on the staff. Okay, it's an art. So draw the 5 lines and practice drawing the clef symbols on the staff, the treble clef and the bass clef. All right, how they are arranged on the staff. Okay, then write the letter names on the lines from memory. Okay, you sit down, take a piece of paper, draw the 5 lines, write down the treble clef, and fill out the letter names on the lines. Fill out the letter names on the spaces. Okay, memorize and record the stuff using the mnemonics that we just used.